All right, I'm going to get started here. So I have my agenda set for today, and it talks about common nutrition questions, but we can definitely talk about anything else that you all would like to discuss. Just pop a question into the chat box or jump in with that question. My agenda is the common nutrition questions, and I've just assembled a few that I've heard and tried to give my thoughts on those common nutrition questions. And then I'm going to leave you today with a couple of takeaways that you can start today to help with your nutrition journey. And I'll ask for more questions at the end. And I'm going to share my screen so you can see the bullet points here. Share that. So whenever anybody asks me to talk about nutrition, I think, where do I start? There's just so many topics that you can go over: macros, diets, behavior change, athletic nutrition. Not only are there a lot of different topics, but also people come from a wide variety of backgrounds: culture, metabolism, nutrition needs, athletes, not athletes, so on. And there's so much information and misinformation that sometimes it's hard to separate the wheat from the chaff. So what's important, what's not important. My goal is to always stay grounded in science and peer-reviewed studies. Don't really get into fad diets. So for today, I've landed on common nutrition questions, but feel free to ask questions that may be totally unrelated. I'm sure it's important. So common nutrition questions: why does nutrition seem so complicated? The right answer often depends on who the asker is. So are they a young athlete, a middle-aged man, a 60-something woman? There's so many facets of nutrition: macronutrients, micronutrients, supplements, pesticides, GMOs. Where do you start? And then there's tons of confusing about nutrition truths. So is red wine saving your life, or is it killing you? What about red meat, eggs? Do I eat the whole egg? Do I eat egg whites? And how about that new fad diet that I just saw on Instagram? The list is pretty much endless. So first question I put up there is, what's the best diet to follow? I pretty much stay neutral on diets and really can support most people on most diets that they might want to try. Again, I try to stay grounded in science, peer-reviewed study, and observation of my clients. So if they want to try being a vegetarian, okay, yeah, let's try it and see how you do on it. Do you feel well? Do you perform well? Do you have brain fog? Just being mindful of how they feel on the diet. And if they feel great, then let's continue with this. Make sure you're getting enough of the nutrients and move on. The same thing with just about anything else. The interesting thing about diets is that they tend to all agree that an emphasis on protein and vegetables is a good foundation. They all kind of meet in the middle on that with different emphasis. So the pros and cons: what works best for one person won't work best for another. Also, a diet that has worked in the best in the past for someone may not work well now. You have to be okay with moving on to something different if it's not working for you. So the alternative to dieting: find the approach to eating that works best for you right now, whether it's paleo, high carb, low carb, tight budget, unlimited funds, or a blend of all of these. The truth is the human body is amazingly adaptable to a vast array of diets. So the best diet is one that matches your unique physiology, includes foods that you enjoy. You shouldn't be eating things you don't like, so that you can eat well consistently. And there's a lot of options out there. So if you don't like broccoli, we can find something different. It should be realistic, that fits in with your lifestyle. So if you feel like the only way to eat well is to cook at home every night, and you have a job that you're working a 60-hour work week, That may not be feasible and you have to make some concessions, but you can still think on a continuum and do well in that situation. All right, next question. Is counting calories important for weight loss? For many people, calorie counting may be more of a hassle than it's worth. The good news is there's a better way. Weight management is a simple equation. If you eat more than you burn, you gain weight. You eat less, you lose weight. But physiology behind calories in, calories out is actually much more complex and dynamic than most people realize. Plus, it's imprecise. We estimate that there's typically an error of 25% on the calories inside and the calories outside. So you could be way off on your calorie count. So when we count calories, we are outsourcing appetite awareness to the food label gods. Instead of calorie counting, we recommend a hand measuring system for portion sizes. And here's how it works. So these are the hand portions. You see the protein here is a palm. And so that works out to be about 20 to 30 grams of protein, or 3 to 4 ounces of cooked meat, tofu, 2 whole eggs, 1 cup of Greek yogurt. Vegetables is a fist. Veggies, it's usually 1 cup of non-starchy vegetables. Carbohydrates is 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrate, about 1/2 to 2/3 of a cup, or 100 to 130 grams of cooked grains or legumes. 1 medium fruit or potato, and the fats are measured by a thumb. So that's 7 to 12 grams, about 1 tablespoon of oil, nuts, seeds, nut butter, cheese, etc. So what do you need as an individual that's difficult to give you in a for everyone? So if you need to know what you need for your portion sizes, contact me privately and we can figure it out together, either virtually or in person. I always collaborate with my clients to find what is going to be best for them. We'll do a calculator first, and then from there, see how that works in the real world for them. Next question. Should I avoid carbohydrates? No, but let's make sure you're getting the right kind of carbohydrates. I call them smart carbs, lower in sugar, higher in fiber. Ask almost anyone what they need to do to lose a few pounds, and they'll probably say, cut back on carbs. However, most people would do better eating a moderate amount of carbohydrate. Whole grains, fruits, potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, legumes, and we emphasize moderation. Your body's going to perform better with carbohydrates, especially if you have an exercise regimen that you do. Here's a big one. Should I drink alcohol? Should I drink less alcohol? If optimal health and fitness is your priority, consider reevaluating your drinking habits. Heavy drinking, more than 7 drinks a week for women and more than 14 for men, increases the risk for a long list of health problems. But even light to moderate drinking can affect sleep, appetite, and decision-making. Still, drinking is an undeniable part of our culture, and when enjoyed reasonably, it can be delicious and fun. So to figure out the best level of drinking, focus on sorting out priorities. So we ask people to consider tracking drinking habits and how they affect you, physically and psychologically, for a couple weeks. Most drinkers consume a lot more alcohol than they think, and when they stop to evaluate, many decide on their own that they would be better if they cut back. When considered honestly, many of my clients decide to cut back to help their healthy journey, whether it's weight loss, body recomposition, or general health. So takeaways that you can start today: declutter your nutrition habits. So this chart here goes from whole to more processed foods. So thinking about taking a step better. So if you have chicken nuggets for lunch every day, consider swapping that out with a rotisserie chicken. And then the next step would be making your own chicken. And then peanut butter cookies for your dessert. Then maybe swap that out for regular peanut butter. And then shelled whole peanuts. So when I start with my clients, I have them concentrate on one thing. It's usually protein or vegetables, and make sure they're hitting their requirements for one macronutrient. The amount of beliefs, habits, and worries you have about your diet and lifestyle can be overwhelming. So red wine is better than white wine. Spinach is better than romaine. Grains are evil, on and on. If you are overwhelmed, try this one habit. Eat mostly or at least more minimally processed foods. Most people would define this as choosing foods close to how they're found in nature, like sweet potatoes, broccoli, chicken, apple. Great example of this. Reason is the greater the degree of processing, the more likely a food has lost its nutrition or some fiber, essential fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients, and gained additives, sugar and or refined starch, healthy fats, unhealthy fats, sodium, preservative, and fillers. Another reason diets rich in minimally processed foods are linked to lower rates of heart disease, cancer, depression, and type 2 diabetes. And reason 3, because minimally processed foods also tend to be richer in fiber and protein and lower in calories per volume. These foods can make it easier for us to manage our calorie intake. There's just one caveat. It's really hard to eat only unprocessed foods. So start thinking of foods on a continuum, like the chart shows. As with most things, processing isn't binary. Foods aren't 100% fake or fresh from the dirt or animal. Most are somewhere in between. Look at the foods you're currently eating and just try to move along the continuum, choosing foods that are slightly less processed than you would usually eat. So takeaway number 1, try to eat more minimally processed foods. Takeaway 2, eat slowly and mindfully. It can make a huge difference. Use your non-dominant hand to slow yourself down. Set aside time to eat. Take a breath between bites. Get out of your car to eat. Add 5 to 10 minutes to your meal. Sit down. Many of my clients stand up to eat, and we try to get them to sit down, and that will slow them down and be aware that they've had a meal. Put your utensils down between bites. If you're already doing that, try eating more mindfully. Take away some of the distractions like cell phone, TV, newspaper, and so forth. So second takeaway, slow down. Like I said, it can make a huge difference, and don't discount that as being too easy of a solution. So if you do have other questions, feel free to contact me. If you would like me to send you some of my ebooks, recipe books, just let me know, send me a direct message or an email. I have a group nutrition program starting on March 5th, and you can go ahead and sign up for that on my website. And that is right here, completenutritionandfitness.com. I'll put a link with this to that, right straight to the sign up. And it really focuses on breaking down, starting with limiting sugar, and then a focus on protein, then carbohydrates, and protein, vegetables, carbohydrates, fats, and then meal planning. So 6 weeks on that group nutrition program. And but if you would like to do one-on-one personal or virtual 20-minute consultation, just let me know. Direct message me, email me, whatever. Hope you have a wonderful day and took away something from this.